national government's policy. So we have a new mechanism, a new forum now, where an arrangement that is co-chaired by both our mayors, that has a representative from each department of both governments, north and south, that has a contribution to make in the wider development of our Northwest region. I suppose our mission here this week is about building on existing relationships, and as John has said just before me, we've been fortunate to be hosted here over many years. The welcome gets stronger each year, the representation that we meet gets stronger and bigger, and we're very, very delighted. We respect and we very much value your time here today. Our businesses have joined us, many of them for the first time. We want to ensure that we take the opportunity to build new contacts across the economic, the education and the cultural strands. I suppose at the end of the day, what we're about is trying to grow our economy back at base. We want to be a host destination for new investment, whether that is large scale or small scale. We want to grow employment in order to ensure that the ambition that we have is a sustainable ambition. We want to expand the reach and capacity of our further educational facilities. And what we want to do then with that is to ensure that we find a way of fully releasing the value that exists back in Ireland Northwest. We're cost competitive. John has spoken about the locational advantages that we have. I think we have fabulous people. We have people who are hungry to do work, they're hungry to make a contribution and hungry to participate. And I think on top of that, our location gives us a fabulous access into one of the world's largest markets, being midway between the interface point between the US and Europe in general. We're also fortunate to have more than 40 overseas companies located in the Northwest already. Names like America, Allstate, United Health Group, OneSource Virtual, Abbott, Philips Medisize, and we also have Randox with us here this morning, and one of the senior executives, Mark Campbell, has joined with us this week to give a testimony and to make new connections for themselves as well. It's great to have those 40 companies and some of them there for many, many years, but I think what has been particularly encouraging for us is to see that those companies have followed through their initial investment with further significant additional investment, and that tells us that they have found a good place, they have found a place that they're welcome, and they have found a place that has been successful for them. Over 75% of those companies that are with us have reinvested very, very significantly over the past number of years. A total of $3.8 billion of capital investment has happened and has occurred through those companies in the Northwest over the past 10 years. I suppose recapping, we want to ensure that we remind you of our value proposition. We have an excellent skilled workforce. They're a workforce that's very culturally compatible with yourselves here. They're eager to learn, they're eager to make a contribution. They have a strong work ethic. I think more importantly than all of that, they have a very high retention rate for companies, very low attrition. And if you go and look at many of those companies that set up 10, 15, 20 years ago, you will find that the majority of the first 100 or the first 20 or the first 40 that worked in the setup of those companies are still there and making a contribution at this particular stage. So I think the other extremely important part on the workforce side and where we have a critical advantage is in the willingness of our educational sector to support companies when they set up. Of course, they will make plans and they will ensure that the programs and training arrangements that they have in place are fully meeting the needs of companies as they're known. But it is very often that new opportunities arise for companies that need to move into new space, they need to move into new markets, and there can be a need on occasions for a very short turnaround for new courses or new training. And all of our educational organisations have stepped up to the mark in that, and indeed have designed new courses and new training arrangements on a very, very short turnaround basis to ensure that the absolute needs of any given company in our region at any given point in time is met. And I also mentioned was access to 500 million plus the European market. So we're at a place, and as John has said earlier, I suppose we're well placed in terms of location, but also in terms of time, because we are that interface that bridges the capacity to turn a 20-hour day into things being able to be done in our location from the beginning of the day at one end of the world to the end of the day at another, have it all done within the same working day. I mentioned cost competitiveness, and I think this is an area where we have a particular significant offering. And if you take our commercial rents, typically the rents that you'll be able to access properties for in the Northwest would be some 30% of what you might be expected to pay in Dublin. indeed less than 20% of what you would normally be accustomed to here in Boston, and less than 10% of what you might expect to pay if you were living in London. So that's extremely important. It's a critical barrier to entry in terms of cost. It's something that we have a unique selling point in. I suppose all of the other proportionate or all of the other expenditures that come with setup are areas where we have a proportional cost advantage, whether it's development land, whether it's affordable housing for the people who are going to work in the enterprises, whether it's the labour cost itself, whether it's the retail offering or indeed the wider leisure offering. In terms of connectivity, John mentioned it very well. I just again want to reiterate that this was world-class broadband that the Kelvin line makes landfall in our territory in the northwest, which connects us back here to the northwest. And similarly, we have onward connections into the UK and the wider EU. John also mentions the critical air flights into the region and the fact that you can travel 2 days' work and begin to make the journey back in the same day. We're also very conscious of, I suppose, the quality of life issues and the fact that a contented workforce is a workforce that will work better for any organisation that engages it. So we have a quality of life that's second to none. We have a quality of healthcare. We have a quality educational system. I mentioned the third level further and higher. But I think to go with that, we have an excellent primary and secondary across the entire region of the northwest. Take beaches, for instance, and the Mayor, Councillor Sloy, referenced us having a significant part of the Wide Atlantic Way. And across that significant part of the Wide Atlantic Way, we have 80 to 90 beaches that you'll find none the match of anywhere. Our leisure and social offering is what you would expect. It's engaging, it's enjoyable, and it's a great release for people who need to find time away from the work desk. We have the capacity and have been the host of many major events in the urban centres in the northwest. We have an excellent cultural offering. I think what's also important is within all of that, and most of those 400,000 people plus that John has referenced can make it on a commute to work. It's something ranging between 5 and 20 minutes, which is something that is pretty special. It allows people to have a life outside work and to have, I suppose, the capacity to do other things and enjoy themselves. The cost of living is relatively low, and I think that feeds through to the entire cost base generally. I suppose in summary, we have a proven track record. We have developed a very effective collaboration, and we want to share the benefits of that with you. We have a very much a joined up approach. And I suppose we come here and we have this conversation, yes, in the context of having some discussion with you about investment and location in our region. But it's not just about that, because there are companies that we have and companies that want to make a similar investment and a similar contribution here. What we want is an opportunity to develop partnerships, to develop strategic alliances. Out of that comes further opportunity, and out of that comes, I suppose, an economic advantage for either of us. If it can be both, it's better. If it's either one, then that's not too bad too. I suppose at the end of the day, it's about just developing those relationships and keeping them strong. Our leisure and social offering is extremely strong as well. Our physical, digital, and cultural infrastructure, John has described. What we have is a very, very good balance between cost and quality. That generates a good quality of life, and that's something that we want to talk to you about, is how that can meet some of your particular needs. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the rest of it.
It's a wonderful place to live. It's a beautiful place.
It's very easy to do business here. We're kind of straddling the two worlds between North America and Europe. We're very well catered in terms of connectivity.
It's a combination of having a high-end career and a fantastic work-life balance. We have the quality here, we have the skill base here.
People are keen to get work. Graduates are incredibly well qualified.
I was excited to be able to work with a different culture, work within a different country. It's been phenomenal.
looking for a place that is well outside the norm, this really does kind of fit that bill. We can't go any further west from where we are without it being too much. We see a lot of people go and visit the breweries in France, Germany, the Bengal really is a place of pristine beauty. We're an island, if we have access to the European market of 500 million people, we're on the periphery, but we're still not that far away from the ports that we need to export our product out here. There's a history and a provision of good talented candidates coming through from the different universities, from the Institute of Technology here in Letterkenny as well. The location here that we have allows people to live locally, grow and develop and stay with the company as well. So we actually see that as a huge advantage.
We don't need to be in London or Dublin. Basically, we can run our company from here. Cost of living is a lot lower. Accommodation, rent, food, entertainment, travel, all of those things end up really having a very practical effect on people's day-to-day lives. A good, simple life, work hard, have a good time, go out runs at the weekends, taking the kids to the beach, even though it might be raining, right? But we can go and get fresh air, and that's really important.
We looked at expanding to a double site locally somewhere, but the cost of manufacturing and the resource required and the skill base required to do that, it was about the X 1.5 cost to manufacture the same as we're manufacturing here. We have everything at hand that facilitate us to grow a business here at a lower cost and globally.
It's very apparent when you walk through the streets that it's very much a family-friendly community. My kids run around outside just fine. They might wear their wellies, but that's about it. You can get in your car and you can drive, and you see some castles that just blow your mind. From an employee standpoint and a labor resource, you're connected. I can go to London and come back in a day.
We're currently building our own facility just 1 mile down the road. We're going to consolidate the services we have and expand our footprint. The great thing about the location of the northwest of Ireland is the real strong network connectivity that's available. And 25% of our organisation work from home on a permanent basis. Your commute time to work can be anything from 2 minutes to 20 minutes. We can nip home for lunch.
It definitely doesn't lack whatever you're looking for. You'll find it here.
You would have a community of surfers that live in the coast of Donegal and go surfing in the evening and just offer development during the day.
The investment that we have made here has paid back fivefold to us.
If we did it, other companies can do it. And there's a great energy and enthusiasm here for good things to happen.
People here in the northwest of Ireland are progressive, they're problem solvers, they're dynamic, they're future oriented, they want to grow, above all, they love having a good time. We're certainly not limited by our location. The limit really depends on your own imagination.
Thank you. We're actually moving into the final piece of the speaking program, which is actually, we believe, is going to be the most popular. especially for our Massachusetts companies looking to connect with the visiting company delegation. I know that we had sent, when we put out information about the companies and who was coming, but we always think it's even more important to connect their faces with a name and get an update about what they're looking for, who they're looking to connect with. After the 17 companies introduce themselves in this format, they will actually have breakout tables set up in the next room where we'll begin a B2B networking session that my team at Benchmark will help coordinate and introduce you to the companies. I'd like to introduce Michael Tunney from the Donegal Enterprise Office to help me on this, and I'll begin loading up the logos right.
Good morning. I don't know whether the logos will tie in with as I call them, but just apologies on behalf of two businesses. Senmo, John McNamara, some of you would have received maybe a bio of him. Unfortunately, John's father wasn't well and had a pull out the day before. So if there's any inquiries in relation to Senmo, either myself or my colleague or Sedani will be happy to take those and pass them on, or indeed Pat's team as well. And the other one is Concilium Education, Andy Hamden. Unfortunately, Andy was here but had a couple of meetings organised and needed to go. And again, if there's any inquiries anybody has with Andy Hamden of Concilium Education, or myself, we're happy to take that. So the first company I like to call on is Orla of Honey. Sorry, sit down, Orla. Rick, getting a brewery.
Thanks very much. Yeah, good morning, everybody. Thanks very much for the nice welcome to Boston this morning. My name is Rick Levert. I'm the owner and head brewer of Kinnegad Brewing. As some of you might notice from my accent, I'm what's very warmly referred to as a blow-in in Donegal. It might change in a few generations' time, but it usually takes about that long. And I suppose taking up from my own background, what we do at Kinnegad Brewing is we take international kind of brewing traditions and styles, and we put a very regional twist on them. Okay, so we produce a range of 7 beers in our core range, with very exotic names like Scraggy Bay, Rust Bucket, Ganarati, Limeburner. As exotic as the names sound, they're actually very, they have a very localized connection to Northeast Donegal. They're very much part of the landscape. We also produce an ongoing range of specials where we experiment with different ingredients such as rhubarb, ginger, gooseberries, chocolate, coffee, a number of different things. We experiment quite a bit, wild yeast strains, other microorganisms. But it's, I suppose, as exotic as some of these things are, and as experimental as some of these things are, our entire range is highly drinkable and highly accessible. So it's intended for anybody who really enjoys it. Very much like the environment that we work in, which you saw, we did everything that we do in a very natural state. We don't pasteurize, we don't filter it. We let our industrious little friends, the yeast, actually ferment or carbonate the beer naturally in primary fermentation. At the moment, we're employing about 10 people in our brewery, producing about 400,000 beers a year. As you may have seen in the slide there, we are moving to Letterkenny, about 20 minutes away from the current brewery in February, and we will be tripling our output. So we're here hoping that we might find small, nice fit, nice niche for our products. Thanks very much.
Paul and Charlie Irish Lennon Studios.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to introduce you to Lennon College. We offer short-term study abroad programs in the creative arts and the digital media sector. We're a father and daughter team. We ourselves are creative artists and we're musicians. We have our own in-house recording and production facility. So we offer for students an environment to come and work alongside creative artists and to produce performance and digital media output. And our programs are suitable for all faculty, and obviously we offer specialised music programs. So I'll hand you over here to Charlie.
Thank you, Eilish, and good morning, still morning, I think, everybody, and thank you for giving us your time. Just a few words about Lennon College. As Eilish said, we're in the culture side of things. We like to bring students over and immerse them in our culture, which is in Connemara. Connemara hasn't moved north to the northwest, it's just below. And it's Connemara is well known for its production of mayors. We have one here in the city, I believe, Martin Walsh. So it's great to be here, and we're interested in talking to people who have connections with the universities, colleges here. And I'm sure all of you, most of you will have either offspring of one kind or another attending colleges. And so we want to cement the relationship between Boston and between Massachusetts and between Ireland. And we do that by having the next generation come and experience what life is like in Ireland, in rural Ireland. And we talk to them about our history and how our long cultural strengths are. And so we're interested in meeting people who have connections with universities here, who might lead us to universities who are interested. We're interested in partnerships. We want to engage with the universities and see to what extent we can work together to create new opportunities for our young people. And I must say I'm very encouraged by our trip here, because yesterday we spent a lovely evening in Boston University, and we were there in discussion with some people who were involved in the orchestra there, the string orchestra. And out of that meeting, I was commissioned to write a new work which would cover an experience of a family in Ireland coming out to this area perhaps 100 years ago, 150 years ago, and how they got on. So I'm going back to Ireland charged with this responsibility of writing a work of maybe 20 minutes, half an hour, which will tell the story of an Irish family coming out here. And so we look forward to having that orchestra over in Ireland, please God, in the coming year, and to perhaps have concerts. And we look forward to coming back out here, because that particular work will be performed here in Boston at a date sometime in late 2017. So thank you very much. If you need any talk with us, we're around, and we have some leaflets here and cards if you want to pick up with us. And I think we're going next door shortly. So thank you for your attention, and have a good day.
France.
Hello, thank you very much for having us here today. My name is Franz Thornbein. I'm a former high school head of mathematics. For young people trying to navigate a path through education, we see the wonderful job opportunities we've seen here, and that will exist obviously here in Boston as well. We're going to stand a much greater success if they've built a positive relationship with mathematics when they're young. Now, traditionally, the teaching and learning of maths has always had its challenges, but none more so than today with the delivery of the Common Core maths curriculum, particularly here in the US. Now, we have identified a key time in a child's life where we think we can positively make a serious change in how the delivery of mathematics in school. Traditionally, when children reach the age of 7 and 8, the learning becomes very book-based, very worksheet-based, very isolated, very assessed, and children get bored with it. So what we've done is we've decided that this is a proper time to give play back to them. Right? So what we've done is we've created a shared learning, highly interactive device whereby all children can build a relationship with mathematics in the way that they prefer to learn, visually, kinesthetically, and by working with others. And it looks like this. You'll see over here to my right, there's a blue box. So when this is presented to kids, lid off it, and it looks like this. What do they say it is? Giant Rubik's Cube. Unlike Rubik's, colors, numbers, and shapes. See this one? That would be purple. That would be a purple team. Green. Same selection. Green. Good catch. And we have finally a red team. So we get 3 teams of kids working from each other. To accompany this on this screen will be 2 robot characters who are virtual set of these cubes. They come out and they pose tasks to kids. The kids must use manipulatives to solve the tasks. Number, algebra, shapes, all the areas of the and universities have gotten onto this. Basically, every university in Ireland now uses this for teacher training. Education authorities love it, inspectors love it. Universities, Queen's and Trinity College Dublin have actually done research on its efficacy, and they've discovered that it makes a statistically significant difference to the attitudes and dispositions to maths, particularly for girls, 13% of which choose a STEM subject at third level education compared to 36%. So already we've more than 100,000 kids across the choose this school in Scotland, England, mainland Europe, Middle East, and we firmly believe that it can be an enormous benefit to teachers and kids. If you're in the universities and you're implementing teacher training programs, if you're in universities and you're doing research on how kids learn, or if you're involved in the school system, we'd love to.
Morning, everybody. Tony McIntyre from Go Walk Club. We exhibited just recently at the Connect Health Expo. We're still following up on some of the very good leads we got there. We're starting to understand the infrastructure and opportunities that are available in Boston. And it's very refreshing to see so many people looking to assist or make introductions for us. I didn't come by tech by accident. I've 30 years in biotech and pharma. Trying to get out of that and travel around the world. Here I am traveling back and forth to the USA 7 times this year. Like a large number of startups, everyone's aware of, they're building technology and devices, and some very excellent technology is being created. We see the view that everything's been created in silos, and as they've been built in silos, that data is not being shared. Care providers can't really get an understanding of the patient's requirements or a good decent overview of global population health. So what we've done, we've built an integrated platform based around home care, wellness, reminders, and making sure that the medicine compliance and adherence is an integral part of it, but it's not the most driven part of it. No one expects an elderly person at home to use a smartphone to scan a barcode to say that they took their medicine. Really, it's a dream. If they actually charge a smartphone, they're probably done very well. So we use some very simple technology like putting messaging directly onto the television. Mom, take your medicine. Dad, put the bins out today. Something that a family member who's far away can easily send the communication directly to the patient or a family member. Typically, like it's almost like SMS in one part. That's the first early stages. The second stage then is when the professionals have to become involved. You have the home care providers. And what we do for them is we do all their location management, all their task management, basically a digital care. Everything is done now using a smartphone by the carer. That means you could have to task a team of 400 carers in the field. Say what something happens like snowfall, you're not going to get to all of your requirements and appointments in that given day. So what our platform allows us to do, we just make a little change, set the priority, and every smartphone for every carer will update, their routing will update, their task will update. And when they get to the locations, there's obviously the automatic check-in, they check into the location, and their task management tools become active and live. When they're live, they're checking everything off, they put the report in, they scan the pill packs, they can do all that sort of thing. They can add in other messages if they have to give say the patient is temporarily on antibiotics. That's probably not captured in a lot of the tools that are out there at the moment. We've built that into the platform. The carer can add that information. It means that 4 different carers going to one home in any given day can all have the same live updated information. What we're looking for is home care providers. Anybody wants to throw some money at us, we'll take that too. But delighted to be here in Boston, and the reception has been absolutely excellent. Thank you for that.
James from SLM Connect, a new company set up in West Donegal.
Hi guys, my name is James Moore and I'm the country manager for SLM Ireland. SLM offers contact centre, call centre, help desk solutions, and our customers include a number of blue chip clients, Sky Television, where we help them with both their inbound and outbound leads and their campaigns, which can be consumer. Our parent company is based in Manchester, England. They currently employ 135 people, and are recently opened a new facility in Gweedore, County Donegal, has the capacity to customer within the next 12 months. It's probably important to just say why Donegal was chosen as the company's second site. And there's three core reasons, two of which Seamus and John mentioned today. One was that we realised that we had access to a talent pool of highly educated, skilled young people. Second, we realised that we needed the provision of high-speed broadband, and we could get that. And third, and probably most important to us, we realised that our customers, which were primarily based in the UK, just love the Irish accent. And in particular, the Donegal accent seemingly comes across as very sincere, friendly, and helpful. And that's, I'd like to think, because we are very sincere and friendly people. So, yeah, delighted to be in Boston. Thanks again for the rest of you guys for coming out. And I would ask if you have a company, or if you work for a company, or know of a company, that has that help desk, customer support facilities, then we're happy to help you out. Thanks again.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Campbell from Randox. Seamus has mentioned Randox already. We're a multinational that is growing out of this area. We're into the life sciences company and focused on blood sciences. So if you're unfamiliar with that, it's all the science that goes on behind the scenes at any time when a clinician takes your blood and sends us away for diagnosis. It's absolutely critical for the future of healthcare, because if we can diagnose earlier and more accurately, we'll get better patient outcomes, and we'll reduce the burden on healthcare services. Now, out of this region, we've made a significant mark in the world so far. We last year manufactured 3.5 billion tests, which we exported to 145 countries. Around 400 million people received a healthcare diagnosis based on our products. The United States is one of our biggest markets, so it's highly likely that anyone here who's had a blood test in the last 5 years, we've been part of that whole process. And this can be achieved out of that particular region. We have invested very heavily, and we have 400 research scientists and engineers. There's a piece of technology here I'd like to talk to anyone who's interested about, called the biochip array, where we can do multiple proteomic and genomic tests at any one time. So for example, we can put 22 pathogens, respiratory pathogens on that chip. In the United States, about 4 million people a year are hospitalized for respiratory disease, average bed stay a week. If we, through better diagnosis, can reduce the bed stay by 1 day, then you can provide $2 billion of efficiencies to the healthcare service. That's the importance of diagnosis. In the pharmaceutical world, increasingly, drugs do not work across the whole population. Through genetic testing on these chips, we can identify responders and non-responders to drugs, allowing drugs to come to market that would otherwise fail because of a non-responder process. So we're very keen to talk to anyone who's interested in the blood science diagnostics area, and particularly high-end pharma who are looking for a companion diagnostic to their very expensive pharmaceutical products. We just make one other point. This region is a fantastic area. We conduct 35 international and national collaborations out of here. Several months ago, we published a paper which we did in collaboration with the University of Vienna on early stage education of Alzheimer's. And we can operate from around the world here. With high-end communication systems, there's no reason why future, not very far in the future, the Nobel Peace Prize for Science and Medicine cannot come out of this region through the capabilities that are there. I also want to speak very highly for those of you who are thinking about this region, about the output from both Donegal and Derry City and Savannah County Council, who are fantastic supporters. And in particular, we're in the very west of Donegal to Údarás na Gaeltachta, who are the Economic Development Agency, and the president, and chairwoman, and chief executives. Micheál Heaney are here today, so please engage with them. It's a fantastic area with huge potential, which I think can provide fantastic partnership to what happens in Boston.
Hello, thanks for listening to us today. Michael told me to keep this to 30 seconds. None of my colleagues seem to be obeying that. So as I said, my name is Kenny O'Kelly. Our company is Irish Gap Year. We bring US students over to Donegal. We have two main products. One is a Gap Year program, which is a 3-month program, and it's 4 cornerstones, if you like. We have volunteering, we have leadership, we have outdoor activities, and we have cultural immersion. The cultural immersion part of basically we cover the whole island of Ireland and bring the students everywhere. They're 3-month programs. We have a group over at the moment. It's based in Bundoran in the south of Donegal. The other product that we offer is based out of Dublin. It is internships. It's the main reason we're here with the group this week. We're hoping to connect with universities and colleges who want to send their students on summer internships or indeed 3-month internships during term over to Dublin. We're connected with over 50 companies in Dublin to do internships of all shapes and sizes, of all varieties. And as I said, we're hoping to connect with colleges here in Massachusetts. Thank you for your time.
My name is Keith Bonner from Irish Fish Skinners. Irish Fish Skinners is a family-owned business. It has been in business for 39 years. We are situated in the Gaeltacht region outside Dunlow. We get great support from British and Gaeltacht, Leo, and Enterprise Ireland. Predominantly, we add value to fish products. So we can the fish, so we take the herring and mackerel from its rawest form straight through to its shelf ready, where you can eat it directly from the can, or add it to a meal as a substitute. It's all natural, it's all healthy. We're a global company, but unfortunately we don't have a route into the US, so we're here hoping to open the door. And if anyone would like to come and chat to me, we can sit down, go through the video, and see. Thank you.
Mr. Downey?
Morning. Mr. Donahue, Studio Donegal. We're a small hand weaving woolen mill based in West Donegal, we continue a tradition of hand weaving woolen clothes, making tweeds. Tweeds, as you all know, are probably rough homespun woolen clothes made in the western seaboard of Ireland and Scotland. So we continue to make tweeds like that. Nobody will want to buy it. It's rough and scratchy. So what we are doing today is making tweeds with pure soft fibers such as real wool, giving them a good rough look, a nice soft handle. So for those of us who look like want to do like Grizzly Adams, there. Anybody who's interested in selling nice tweeds, genuine Donegal tweed jackets made in Donegal, and is interested in supporting Irish manufacturing.
Councillor Carr, back over to Derry.
Morning, everyone. I'm Siobhan Donahue from a company called Modern Democracy. Modern Democracy focus on supplying software solutions for the elections industry. Our software solutions our software solutions focus not on the voting process, but on the management of processes around that. So the management of voter communication, the management of campaigns, and also the management of election day processes, such as the management of your polling stations and getting information out on election day. Our solutions principally work on removing the paper from the process, so using mobile and tablet technology to communicate and to provide information in real time to allow you to make better decisions and to understand what's happening where. So I'm keen to talk to anyone who's involved in any aspect of the election process and understand how our solutions can help you. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Malika Eastwood. I'm Chief Executive Officer of that company, Garden. I don't recognise that logo, but there you are. Now what we do is change colour. And we do that in the north, we change colour all the time. It works. We believe in making people's lives easier by making it easier for them to manage the most important resource of all, the thing that you cannot get back, which would be time. So we help organisations to control the availability of their people. We do that through mobile devices and internet applications, and we work with some of the largest fire departments all over the world. Here this morning, we announced a partnership with our friends at Adachi here in the US. So we look forward to talking to any organisation that wants to introduce a proven, innovative tool for managing the availability of all of your personnel. Thank you.
Michael Faulkner, CEDO.
Thanks, Michael. I used to work for this man, so I know when he told me 30 seconds. I have to keep it. So, we, CEDOPS is an equity crowdfunding platform. You're probably aware of the economic history of the last 6 years. Unable to access capital. We looked at what was happening with Kickstarter, and we thought, wouldn't it be a good idea to get the crowd to invest and actually take shares in the company? So we created a platform that would happen. We were the first to launch in Ireland, we were the first to launch in the European market, the first to launch in the Canadian market, we're first to launch in the US market. We're looking for partners, we're looking for collaborative partners, we're looking for strategic partners. Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Joe Kavanagh, and the name of the company I work for is Rejuice. So let me just get the most important things out of the way. If you remember nothing else about me, please remember this. We're looking for distributors, for convenience stores, petrol stations, online distributors. So with that, I'll tell you why we're what we do. So our company actually provides flavoring for vape juice. Believe it or not, the juice that you'll see the people vaping supplying. We are one of the fastest growing company at our incubation hub at the IT College, and the reason for that is that we have only supplied pharmaceutical grade ingredients. We vastly surpass the EU equivalent of the EU FDA regulatory guidelines for emissions testing for the flavorings that we use. So we're about as safe as safer, or if not as safe as the regulatory authorities demand. We are the only ISO 9001 2015 compliant e-juices is called manufacturing facility in Europe. As the new regulatory rules come in both the United States and Europe, we're way ahead of the curve in the safety and the manufacturing compliance of the supply. So we already have partners in the United States. We want more distribution partners. We are growing in France and Chinese markets. So then from a larger long-term perspective, we are looking for partners within the United States who want to work towards manufacturing in Donegal to supply the European Union market. We're already in conversations with several, but we want more. My background actually is pharmaceuticals, and I've been working in pharmaceuticals like startup business with the help of Enterprise Ireland for the last several years. So I saw the opportunity with this company, with a very successful business model, to help fund those initiatives through Donegal, and I actually worked in Cambridge for many years in pharmaceutical commercialization. So I'm totally sold on the opportunities to partner with Massachusetts and Donegal, Letterkenny, etc. I think it's a terrific combination. So finally, last but not least, we want to start working for just transactions initially, some US-based banks. Then from a long-term, more strategic partner, we definitely want to talk about our big vision, long-term plans with potential investors for the future. Finally, as somebody who lives in the country in Ireland, I just want to round out the conversation, finish out the conversation about the cow. So I will say that on a trip to China, I was very happy to find out that one of the biggest markets for the Irish dairy industry is the Chinese baby food market. Believe it or not, if you remember, there was a lot of issues with it years ago, but now I'm told in the 6 o'clock evening news, the time around there in advertising, Irish baby food is being advertised on Chinese television. They have a stamp of safety approved by the Irish European Union standards, etc., which is no mean achievement to get that product in that big market. So, needless to say, there's none other happy than the dairy farmers in Ireland once news of their relaxation of the one-child policy came out.